On today's episode, two things every comic book fan loves: a time constraint and limited funds. Oh boy! Welcome to Haul Yeah Comics. My name is Nate, and I have issues. And today's issues had rules. I got this idea from my friend Eric at SideQuest Comics. He's done this a few times where he does a $10 challenge. He limits himself to $10 when he goes into a shop so that he really has to think about what he's picking out. I was running some errands today and I was near a half-price books, and I thought, hey, I'll sneak in, and I just happened to look in my wallet and see how much money I had. Now, I'm a bit richer than Eric, I guess, because I had 3 crisp $5 bills. So I limited myself to $15, but I was also in the middle of running errands and doing things that I really needed to get done, so I didn't have a lot of time to dig, so I decided I would set a timer for 15 minutes and limit myself to the $15 so that I didn't go crazy. And I got some books. It actually did make the digging kind of fun and a little more purposeful. So when there were books that I pulled out that I looked at, I was like, oh, I like this, but it's $5. And I didn't want to, I didn't necessarily want all dollar books, but it was going to have to be a really good $5 book for me to spend a third of my budget on just one book. I didn't dig through everything that they had, which is also a rarity for me, because I had to think, like, what am I looking for? And sadly, some of the things I was looking for were not there. Like, I flipped through the A's in their DC section. There was no Iraq. I flipped through the New Mutant section, and there were no Bill Sienkiewicz covers. So while I started thinking about the things I wanted to look at, it also kind of got me a little disjointed as I walked around the store. So how did I do? How did the experiment go? Pretty well. I stayed under the budget. I didn't even spend $15. And I did probably spend a little more than 15 minutes digging. The timer went off, I was looking through the dollar bins, and I know I finished the one I was in, and I went to another one. But oddly enough, I didn't get a single dollar book. Everything I got came from, the upper bins. So, without further ado, I'll show you what I got, but I did take a few minutes, which also added to the difficulty of the challenge. I had my phone in one hand as I was digging through some of the sections and looking at some of the books they had in the store. They actually had some pretty good wall books. I don't know about prices. I would have to look at the books more closely and see what their condition is, because I really find half-price books can be kind of inconsistent with their pricing. Sometimes they have a book that's worth money, but the condition that it's in doesn't merit what they're asking for. So again, like, there were definitely some good books that they had showcased, but I'm not sure whether they were worth the money or not. Regardless, it doesn't matter because they were all out of my budget range. I wasn't going to get them today. But we'll just take a quick digging tour here. We'll look through some bins, I'll show you some of those wall books, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I ended up coming home with. So that was a quick look at the half-price books in Avon, Indiana, where I went and did some digging today and gave myself this challenge. In the end, I purchased 7 books, and each book was a $2 book, so $14 total. But because I'm a teacher, I get a 10% discount, so I actually came in under $14, so it was like 13 something with tax. And you know, I could have grabbed another $2 book, but I was out of time, and I was kind of trying to stick to the limits I had set for myself. Like I said, I've seen my friend Eric at SideQuest do this a few times, and it really was kind of fun to set a little challenge for yourself and say, hey, you're gonna let yourself go do a little digging, even though the last thing you need is another comic book. But yeah, you know, you got to do it within these constraints. So it was kind of fun. So I'm gonna show you the books that I did pick up, and I'm gonna show you in like ascending order of awesome here. So the first one, I don't know anything about. This is James Stockow, Orphan and the Five Beasts. This is a book I've seen currently on the shelves. I think this might be the older run. So there was an older run, and then there's a more current run that's on the shelves right now as a new release. I really, really like the interior art. It's extremely detailed. I think kind of maybe a little gory and violent. There's, you know, little nods to Japanese manga anime style. Sort of reminds me of like Shaolin Cowboy a little bit. So I don't know anything about it other than when I flipped through the book and saw the art, I really liked it a lot. And for $2, I was willing to roll the dice and give this one a try. Up next is 3 books that go together. It is the full series, and it's a little bit controversial, and it should be. This is Black Orchid, and there are 3 issues. Like I said, this is book 1 by Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean. So Neil Gaiman has been, you know, somebody who had some things come out about him that are not so great. I'm doing everything I can not to, you know, purchase things that are going to get him royalties or whatever else, but I am somebody who can separate the art from the artist to a degree. Now, this is a series I've never read before, and like I said, it was 3 issues. Each one was only $2, so I just felt like, you know, especially for their square-bound volumes, they're deluxe from Vertigo from the 90s. These cost $3.50 new in the 1990s. So, you know, $2 now is a really good deal. Not great appreciation for the value of Black Orchid, but I just love Dave McKean's art. So he, you know, he's a multimedia artist. He does draw and paint. So there's book 1. But he also incorporates things, you know, elements that are real, like pieces of wood or string, textures, and he takes photographs of his art. There's issue 2, and then issue number 3. So this, like I said, a series I've never read, but I really do love Dave McKean's art, and I wanted to check this book out. I do really love Neil Gaiman's writing. I just, you know, I am struggling to to separate who he is from what he writes, but you know, it's a gray area. It's a difficult subject. I don't know what's right or not, but you know, I spent the money on this because I thought it was cool, and a book that I've wanted to check out for a long time. So there we go. All 3 issues of Black Orchid for $2 each. Not bad. I don't think I could get the trade of this for $6. I have been on something of a sword and sorcery kick lately, reading Warlord, now Iraq, Son of Thunder. What's the other one I've been? Oh, Thongor from Marvel Premiere, I think it is. Claw. There's all these sword and sorcery books. There were a ton of sword and sorcery movies in the 1980s, and a lot of the guys that, you know, I talk with and hang out with, we talk about how we kind of wish there'd be a resurgence of that genre, something to bring that era back. So when I was digging, I saw a lot of Marvel Conan, and Marvel Conan is not something I've read very much of. I've picked up a couple of the trades, the early ones, Barry Windsor Smith, but I saw these and I decided I'd grab one just to give it a read. And of course, you know, I take a lot of flack for being somebody who likes body transformation, centaurs. Well, this one has what I think is a minotaur on it. I don't know. This guy's got a bull's head. He's got cloven hooves. He was fighting Conan. I didn't really, I mean, there were a lot of books that I had a choice of. I chose this one for 2 reasons. First, it was the oldest one they had, issue number 142. And second, yeah, I got it because it's got a guy that's a minotaur. I mean, I'm not ashamed of who I am. I've got 2 books left to go, and this next one is definitely the coolest because I'm ending with, quite frankly, the stupidest. But here we go. So this is the coolest cover I picked up. I don't know anything about it. Dark Horse Comics presents number 9, featuring a kick-ass RoboCop cover. This is not going to be something I end up keeping. This is going to go to my friend Brian, who is a big 80s action movie and especially RoboCop fan, and I am too, but I think this will be more meaningful for him. So I just thought this was an awesome cover, this awesome painted cover. I'm not sure who did it. I know that Dark Horse Comics Presents had a lot of different characters, aliens, Predator, obviously RoboCop, so they had a lot of 80s properties. Again, I don't know anything about it. I just thought the cover was absolutely awesome. Thought I'd give it a read, worth my $2 and something that I can pass along as a gift to a friend. Good Lord. Like I said, this last book is absolutely the stupidest pickup, but I just had to. Now, I actually frequent this Half Price Books quite a bit, and I've seen this book in the bins a few times, and I keep passing because it's at least a 2-issue series, and this is the 2nd issue. And I don't like to do that. I like to pick up first issues more than that, but this one has been in the bins so much. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. They just added this character to the game not too long ago, so I felt like the stars were aligned. It was time to buy something stupid for $2. I got issue number 2 of Nightman and Gambit. Nightman was a Malibu character who I don't remember at all, but there are a few books, comic books that are out there of his. What I remember Nightman from was a really terrible syndicated TV show where he was I think a saxophone player by day or by night, because I mean, if you're a saxophone player, wouldn't you be playing saxophone in a nightclub? But he's the Nightman, so he's also some kind of superhero. I remember the show. He had this red eye that glowed, and it looked pretty bad even by 90s standards. The special effects where he would be flying, he wasn't horizontal, he was, I seem to remember him being at like a 45-degree angle. It was not a good show. It is crazy to me that this was the team up they decided to do, was Gambit and Nightman. Again, not a book that I know anything about, but something I thought was absolutely stupid. I'm gonna check it out, and more than likely, it's not gonna stay in the collection. This one's gonna go in the giveaway box or the trade box. Surely somebody out there, some X-Men fan, needs this for their collection. Maybe I do need it. I don't know. It's pretty terrible. So that's it. I got 7 books. Stayed under my $15 limit. I pretty much stayed within my 15-minute time frame, and it was a lot of fun. I'm really happy with these pickups. I think the one I'm most excited about is the Black Orchid, just because it's one that I've wanted to read for a long time, and one that I've never bought or had the chance to buy, at least not at this price. So out of everything that I got, I mean, how do you think I did? What do you think of the books that I picked up? And if you're somebody who likes to go digging for books, you might do this challenge just to give yourself a little bit of rules to follow. It does make you, Eric's right, SideQuest Comics is right. It makes you think when you're digging through those bins, because there were more than a few books I picked up, specifically a couple of Archie covers that I really liked. There were a couple of Batman books that I grabbed, but in the end I had to put some back so that I was underneath that limit. And like I said, I got up to the counter and it was 13 something. I was like, oh, I could have grabbed a $1 book and I still would have met the challenge. But there's no going back. There's always next time though. So with that, I thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. This was just a quick one, something fun. Please leave me a comment below, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. I'm not ashamed of who I am. Oh boy! I know that DC, or Darkhawk Comics presents, I wish. I know that, oh boy! Oh boy! Oh goody! Oh good! All right, we're just gonna go for it. I flipped through the new, excuse me. Yeah, I don't want to say that.